All right, ready to go?
Ready to go.
What's up? This is Blockbusters and Bootlegs, Episode 3. This week we're covering Lone Wolf McQuade, 1983, and...
Cloverfield Paradox.
2016.
2016. I don't remember what year it was.
All right, so what are you watching this week?
Paige's still watching Vampire Diaries, so... She's been kind of hanging out while she watches that.
I got confused last week for it's True Blood was the show I was thinking of.
Oh, that Cole watched?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
True Blood.
Yeah. I'm sure it's pretty much the same thing.
I have no idea. I've never seen either of them. All I know is the True Blood show is like super like raunchy, I guess.
Oh, okay. This one's not on that one's. So, Vampire Diaries isn't near as bad then.
No, it's not nearly as sexy.
It was on the CW, so I'm sure it's toned down quite a bit. There's not a whole lot of raunchiness to it.
Yeah, there's not like the overly seductive, like, bite your neck, I'm gonna pull your shirt off, and I never understood that thing with vampires either, where they're like seduce you, so they're getting ready to take you to Boneville, and instead they just bite the shit out of you and drink all your blood.
Maybe that's just their tactic that they use.
I don't know. So, you're not watching anything this week. Paige is just watching Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, I haven't really watched anything on my own, really. I mean, we had our anniversary on Wednesday, so.
What'd you do?
Nothing really. I mean, we just got dinner at home. We had Cannon. And then yesterday we did a dinner by ourselves at the house.
What'd you do with the kid? You just lock him in a closet downstairs or something?
No, he was at my mom's yesterday.
I forgot to mention, last week, I went and saw Solo.
Yeah.
And that was pretty good. I don't think that movie deserved the reviews it got. I think critics kind of shit on that movie, and like the diehard Star Wars fans like hated on it for no reason, because I thought it was really good. It was a lot of fun.
Better than the critics said it was.
Oh, absolutely. It was like a full pace, nonstop, just kind of action-y Star Wars movie.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been huge on the Star Wars movies. I watched like the original ones when I was a kid, but a lot of the new ones, it's just, I don't know. It's not really my thing anymore.
I like them.
I don't hate on it. I mean, I doubt they're bad movies. They'd probably be pretty good movies, just not something I'm like, oh man, I'm going to go watch that.
I go and see them all when they come out.
Like I said, I think I've seen a couple of the newer ones, but not recently.
I went and saw episodes 1, 2, and 3 with my stepdad and my brother and sister. And then the newer ones I went and saw with Cole. I went and saw The Force Awakens with Brad as well, though.
Oh, okay.
And then my brother-in-law, I go and see him.
Yeah.
Every time. Because they come out at Christmas, and he takes leave, so he's home during Christmas anyway, so we just end up going and seeing it. Even if we've seen it once, we'll go see it again.
Who?
Kenny.
Oh, Kenny. All
yeah.
right. I was thinking one of Hannah's brothers. You said brother-in-law.
Oh, no.
I forget.
Well, on my side.
Yeah, on your side.
But I also saw Jurassic World.
Did you go see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
We haven't seen it yet.
It's awesome.
I'm stoked about it.
It's a Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the same kind of shit. If you like Jurassic Park movies and you like that kind of action and the little bit of letdown, the little bit of heartbreak.
I like the newer ones. I think the actors that they got for them do really. I like Chris Pratt does a really good job. I like the new ones.
Yeah, it's not bad. I still have a hard time looking at Chris Pratt and going, "You're an action guy," because he's like,
I don't know.
If you watch Parks and Rec, he's like just goofball.
Yeah, I guess that's just we didn't really watch Parks and Rec. I think we started more like seeing Chris Pratt in movies with Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Guardians of the Galaxy rules.
Yeah, those are good movies.
All of them.
So it's not as weird for me seeing him as like an action guy, because that's where I started seeing him, was in an action movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. Hannah and I started Westworld. It sounds familiar, but I can't.
It's like an HBO show. I'm only like 2 episodes into it, so I haven't fully developed what's going on yet, but it's like this amusement park where they build these animatronics almost, but they're lifelike. And people pay to go to this amusement world, and you can like kill them, or you can have sex with all of them, or they pull you into like these little adventures while you're there.
Yeah.
And it's a really weird show because like I said, I'm only 2 episodes in, but like the animatronics are like becoming self-aware. And they're like, wait.
So it's one of those like AI starts to learn.
Like, they're remembering. Like it resets like every day. So they replay the day over again, the animatronics, for the new guests.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all just kind of like, wait, I remember some guy rolling through here yesterday and like blowing everybody to hell. So it's getting interesting. It's got a lot of, Anthony Hopkins is in it. And then, I don't know, did you see any of the Hunger Game movies?
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
The guy that is, what does he do? He's like the code writer, the developer guy.
Are you talking about the...
I don't know his...
Not the first one, right?
No, he's not in the first one.
Yeah, he's
No, you're talking about the game developer. I'm talking about the code writer guy. The black dude.
Code writer.
And they force him into the games. I don't know his exact title.
Yeah, I don't know who you're talking about.
Well, anyway, he's in it, and he's like the main character in the Westworld. Well, one of the main characters. And he's responsible for... I think he's just kind of getting typecasted as a software developer.
Are you talking about the really smart guy in the games?
Yeah, he figures out the electric shock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's just like a genius kind of... He's not really a...
I thought he worked...
Well, they don't really portray him as like a code writer, I don't think.
I thought he worked or had something to do with the... that world.
I don't know. I can't.
Like I know he's part of the
remember.
Resistance.
Yeah, he becomes part of the Resistance. I can't remember what he did before that. Besides, he won. Him and his partner won. They're one of the champions.
Yeah,
whatever. They won the games.
I don't know. It shows how much I paid attention to the Hunger Game movies.
Yeah,
I've seen all of them, and of course, IMDb is not going to credit him on it. Well, anyway, yeah, he's in it.
He loves those movies.
Him and Anthony Hopkins like designed the robots.
Oh, okay.
And his job pretty much is to kind of record human interactions, like facial expressions and emotions, and he tries to emulate them into the robots.
Oh, make them more lifelike kind of thing. Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. So yeah, we started that show, and then I watched this foreign film last night. I can't remember the name. I asked Hannah so I could remember it. I can't remember, but it takes place in Oslo, Norway, and like this girl is going to college, and she keeps having these seizures, and all this weird shit's happening to her. And later on, you find out that she's telepathic and stuff. And
that sounds cool.
It was a weird movie.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad though.
I did see the poster. I can't think of what they call them. Like what they have up on the walls at the movie theaters.
Yeah,
that it's like the posters of what movies are coming out on Facebook for the sequel to Split.
Yeah, Glass.
Glass. That's right. Yeah. That's I'm excited about that.
Which is actually
that's probably gonna be awesome.
It's part of the trilogy. The first movie to Split was Untouchables, and that movie came out in the 90s. Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson were in that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. I have not seen Split yet.
Split's a really good movie.
I've seen Untouchables. I haven't seen Split.
Yeah, I really liked Split. It's the actor that's the main guy, the crazy guy.
John McAvoy?
I can't remember his name. He did a really good job in that movie.
Yeah, he plays Professor Xavier and...
Yeah, that guy.
And the new X-Men spinoffs. James McAvoy, sorry.
James McAvoy. Yeah, he did an awesome job in Split, playing the different... he's a schizophrenic, playing the different personalities. That was an awesome movie.
I haven't seen it yet. I need to go watch it though. I'll probably, before I see Glass, I'll rewatch both of those movies.
Yeah, I guess I need to see the first one then, because the only one I've seen is Split.
Did you get a release date on that? Did you see the release date?
I want to say it was, I did. I want to say it's next year.
It's next year?
I think. I can't remember now.
I thought they started filming on that a while back. Well, anyway,
let me check.
We're just moving into the future here. But we'll do
a
podcast on the whole trilogy. So we'll cover Untouchables, Split, and then in the next week's episode or something like that, we can cover Mr. Glass or Glass.
Release date is January 18th, 2019.
Oh, so that's not that far off. We're looking at like 6 months. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. Because I like the trilogy thing. I'm into that.
I am too.
I like standalone movies, but if it's a really good story and they make it into a trilogy, I'm all for that.
Yeah, just like one of the movies we're doing today, Cloverfield Paradox. That's a trilogy.
Did we confirm that it is tied into the other two?
It is tied.
Okay,
yeah.
I wasn't sure because I didn't go in and look at that, but I mean, I was like, it would make zero sense at all for it not to be part of those.
Yeah.
Because in the other movies, I didn't see all of Cloverfield.
I don't actually, now that you say that, I don't remember if the second one that came out was really tied to the first one.
No, it is. It's after the fact.
Was it supposed to be after?
Yeah, so it's supposed to be showing like people are in hiding.
Okay.
Like when her and her husband are like running in that one, right? And she gets drove off the road.
It was just a chick. There wasn't a guy with. Yeah, there was.
I'm mixing that up with another.
There was a different. Man, it's been so long since I should have looked at that one beforehand. I want to say that it was her by herself.
Well, I know John Goodman like runs her off the road, and like takes her.
Yeah.
And then she wakes up and she's like,
because she reminds him of his late daughter.
Yeah.
Is why he kidnapped her. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's also some like super like weird.
There's another
tension.
There's another guy in it.
Yeah.
And I want to say he was already in the shelter.
Yeah, he had already been kidnapped.
Yeah. And then there's like a weird tension between him and her. John Goodman, his character was really weird.
He's got like some creepy hard on for some girl that reminds him of his daughter.
Yeah, that one was really weird.
John Goodman, for those of you that don't know, is a fellow Missourian.
Is he really? Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he went to Missouri State for college.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know why he would make that mistake, but
it's
nice to have a fellow Missourian.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
Hopefully he's a Chiefs fan. Royals fan.
Know. I know Brad Pitt is also from Missouri, and he is a Chiefs fan.
He's a huge Chiefs fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
which
awesome.
Is pretty cool. He's got like a foundation where he donates money and time to build houses for low poverty people in Missouri.
I thought that's in Springfield, though, isn't it?
I don't know if it's just...
Because that's where he is from Springfield,
yeah, he's
right?
From Springfield. Yeah, but I don't know if they're only doing it in Springfield or if they're doing it around the state. But I know it's like kind of a Missouri exclusive thing.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
But I thought this movie was really cool. I don't know, the whole space time and like not necessarily different dimensions, but the fabric of space. And what we don't know about it is really interesting.
All right, so bring us into it. Let's start talking about it because this movie was easily the most interesting installment of the entire trilogy.
I would say so.
Like the first movie, I quit watching it because I don't like the real footage shit. You know what I mean? Like running around with the camera.
It's like it's
shaky.
on the phone.
Yeah.
But yeah. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It was, I don't know. That whole like filming with just your phone type of movie, it can get frustrating because it's really shaky and hard to follow sometimes. But I thought they did a really good job of like keeping you in to where you kind of felt like you were there on that one too, though. Like it made it feel realistic.
The late 2000s. Where
they did a lot of those movies,
God. Quarantine,
Quarantine was, there was 2 quarantine movies.
Yeah, all the Paranormal Activity movies, Cloverfield. This even leads back to the Blair Witch Project, which that's 99, I'm pretty sure.
I would say that's probably where that came from.
I mean, that pretty much started the whole genre. Or the whole explosion of that style of movie. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Cloverfield was so shaky though that it was like at times I was you couldn't even see anything. It was like watching a fight video on World Star.
Yeah, it's like, where they're moving way too much because they were running a lot with the camera in the first Cloverfield.
And Quarantine was the same way for like in parts. It was like, guys, come on, like I get it, you're supposed to. It's supposed to add suspense. Like I'm running, I'm getting away from what it is that I'm chasing, but it's like.
It makes it hard to follow.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You just, in your head, you're like, stop moving the fucking camera.
Yeah. You're going to make me puke.
Yeah. Like, this is, I feel like my head's being shaken around.
Here's what fucked me up about that style. You're recording, and like in some of those movies, they're like, they tell you in the movie they have a camera. Like in Quarantine, he's got like a shoulder-held camera.
Yeah, because they're a news crew.
You're trying to get away from this shit. Dump the camera, dog.
Yeah, I feel like those kind of cameras would be a little like maybe your phone wouldn't be. You could just hold your phone in your hand and run, but that kind of camera, I guess. But they kind of made it seem like, holy shit, we have to document what's going on here, and that's why he didn't like.
Fuck that.
Plus,
I want to live.
He used it. He used the camera at one point as a weapon.
That is true.
He, like smashed some lady's head in with it.
Well, it didn't help him at the very end when the. Whatever the fuck that was trapped in the room ate his ass. So
where the infection started.
Yeah.
The guy that was doing like the experiments or whatever. Yeah, that was fucking creepy.
But yeah, so the found footage thing or the personal footage thing.
Yeah.
Man, I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
Yeah, I would say I wouldn't hate it. I don't mind it. So there's been some good movies that had it, and then other ones it was just too shaky.
Yeah.
But the Cloverfield paradox,
how does it start?
It's the premise of the movie is that Earth is it's in the future. I don't remember if they said what year it was.
No, I don't recall that either.
But the Earth is having an energy crisis.
Yep.
And countries are getting ready to go to war over like oil reserves and stuff like that. So
like they quote like Germany and Russia.
China, and the U.S. was like basically who
Japan.
They said in the movie that was going to go or were like threatening each other over this stuff. But it was.
Well, Great Britain was in the mix too. Well, whatever. The major global powers.
Yeah. And so they've got a particle accelerator that they're going to take up into space because I think they'd never really say for sure, but they kind of like hinted at the fact that it's too dangerous to try to test fire this thing on Earth, so they have to go do it in space.
Yeah, because they don't know what the particle accelerator will... Once they successfully start it, they don't know what's going to happen. They're afraid that it's going to open up some kind of transdimensional shift or like open up a black hole or it'll cause like a massive radiation.
That was a real thing too when they were trying to fire off that particle accelerator in was it in France?
Yeah.
That there was a bunch of scientists that were saying they were worried it was going to open a black or it was going to be like start a black hole.
They have opened black holes.
Have they?
Yeah, I mean, very brief snippets.
Yeah.
So they'll open up and then they'll immediately close. So it's not anything where you're going to see like a massive catastrophe out of it or nothing like that. But
no shifting gravity or anything like that.
Brief blips, which is crazy because what's it called? The Hadron Accelerator? I think that's what it's called.
Which one?
On Earth.
The real life one?
Yeah, currently.
Oh, I don't know the name of it.
I think that's what it's called. But yeah, they're testing a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of shit. They're replicating a lot of stuff that is observable or measurable in space, and they're starting to do it here on Earth.
It's just way too far away for us to be even close to any of those to actually be able to observe it like close enough to get data or
they're even like photographing atoms and things like that now.
Are they?
Yes. I mean, technology is going crazy.
It was at least a couple of months ago. They actually measured gravitational waves from two black holes colliding that were like millions of light years away, and we were actually able to measure I forget the name of it's like a laser spectrometer. I can't think of the name of the device they used. I read the article about it, but yeah, they were actually able to observe the gravitational waves past Earth.
They also just got released by NASA last week that they have observed through radio telescope a black hole consuming a star for the first time ever.
That's awesome.
Which was a huge revelation because it's hard to photograph black holes, obviously, because they pull everything in.
Light doesn't escape them.
So they get to watch this black hole feed off of this star, and it's pulling all the matter into it, but it can't pull it all in at once. It's too much, so it's rejecting some of it, kind of like a quasar works, where it's spitting it out in gamma ray bursts. So you get to see this, and it's kind of crazy. It's crazy how far we're coming along.
If something like that is really interesting to you, like anybody that's listening to this, if you want to learn more about that, there's a couple of different documentaries and TV shows about stuff like this that actually goes through and explains like what a quasar is, all that stuff, all the different styles of planets and shit that we think are out there.
Explains it in layman's terms.
Yeah,
I love this stuff.
It's so you can understand it. Yeah,
I don't know shit about it, so don't take what I'm saying today and be like, "Oh man, that's the truth."
I don't know a damn thing about quantum physics.
I'm over here talking shit and hoping that what I saw in the fucking universe is being regurgitated properly, and it probably isn't. So that's okay.
They did the one that Neil deGrasse Tyson does is called the Cosmos. Yeah, I think, and then there was another one that was a little bit more.
That's a redo of Carl Sagan's Cosmos
that's right.
that he did in the 80s.
There was that one, but they didn't... It was almost like they tried to make it too far into layman's terms. So some of it was kind of like they did like cartoon, like little sections of it
Cosmos.
to like tell a story of what they were talking about.
I think what they were trying to do, though, is I think they're trying to appeal to adults, but they're also trying to appeal to the younger crowd, too.
It was more of like a middle school, late elementary school type of show. Let them learn about it.
Yeah, they wanted everybody to be interested.
Yeah, because there's another one. What was the other one? The Universe?
Yeah, that's the one that was on History Channel.
Okay.
Universe.
Yeah, but I've seen both of those.
But Netflix is chocked full.
Oh, definitely. Some of them are old. You have to kind of watch. You have to look for the dates on them, though, because some of them are a little bit older, and there's been stuff that we figured out since then that's not going to be in the show.
Well, even the Universe is 11 years old now.
Is it? Because there's two I know that were recently done. The Cosmos wasn't. That's not that old.
No, Cosmos is still airing.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't know if the Universe is still airing.
Oh, okay.
I think the Universe may be done, but then again, I haven't had cable in 6 years.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just watch it on Netflix.
If it's not on Netflix, I haven't seen it.
Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Yep.
We got Sling. We got Sling TV now.
Did you?
We do that, yeah. Which is nice to be able to watch some of the channels still. Paige does MTV. We get FX, which I mean, there's really no point to have FX. They're either playing Armageddon, Wanted, or The Martian every day of the week.
Yes.
But,
back to last week, they used to play The Rock on FX nonstop, too.
Yeah.
So, well.
But, okay, so, we kind of jumped off on a little tangent there.
Well, I think that might
Cloverfield,
be our MO.
Cloverfield paradox. So they're it's called the Shepherd Particle Accelerator. They're taking it up into space because they're going to try to fire it off. They can't. And then they get up in space, and they're trying to fire it off, and it keeps failing. For some reason, it's destabilizing.
And it's an international crew.
Yeah, there's like a Russian guy, a German guy, a chick from China. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like the whole world is coming together to try to get it, because it's free power for everybody.
If they can figure it out.
If they can get it to stabilize. But and it's only in the movie, from what I could find. I couldn't actually find any real theories on that paradox. I tried to look.
To use it, to use as renewable energy? Like a constant renewable source of energy?
the thought of the paradox in the movie. Okay, the thought for the paradox is, in the movie they're saying it's a scientific theory that if you start this particle generator or particle accelerator up, and
cause a jump.
it creates too much energy, it can cause problems with it. Like they basically say it could almost like tear a hole in time and space and cause like several different dimensions to collide into the same plane, and then cause all sorts of weird anomalies and stuff that is not defies the laws we have of physics and stuff.
So essentially,
like that.
they're trying to suggest that it's going to open up a wormhole that doesn't close. It's just it
Kind of.
merges two universes together.
Yeah. So it's not really, I guess, what you would think of a wormhole. You would picture like a tunnel through space.
Yeah.
Not particularly that. It almost like collapses dimensions together is what they're afraid of.
Okay.
But that's if it creates too much energy. So that's part of them wanting to get it stabilized is create enough energy for the entire Earth without creating too much energy. And they don't not everybody in the movie thinks that this Cloverfield paradox is something that's actually going to happen. It's just discussed in the beginning of the movie. They think it's going to happen. So, they're working on it. They can't figure it out. They're up there. They were only supposed to be up there for like, I want to say they said 6 months in the beginning of the movie. And then they just slowly shows the time's ticking on farther. They up there for like 600 days and they still haven't figured it out.
Yeah, because they're worried they're going to run out of fuel to fight.
Yeah, they get to the point where they've only got enough fuel for like three more starts, 3 more startups, because it takes so much energy to start up the particle accelerator before it'll sustain itself.
Yeah.
And then, so basically, they're doing all this. They get it finally to start and stabilize, but it doesn't fully stabilize and it overloads, so it creates too much energy. And then the Cloverfield paradox does happen. That's out of nowhere. Their ship like shifts almost, like it's almost like they are experiencing turbulence or something in space, and then all of a sudden the Earth's not there anymore.
Yeah, because it like what they think happens is they think they got blown across the universe.
Yeah, or they destroyed the Earth.
Yeah.
They thought at first they thought they might have killed everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, because one of the scientists quotes, "We have to accept the fact that we may have just killed 7 billion people unexpectedly."
Trying to save them.
Yeah.
But okay, and then once that happens, their gyro is gone.
Yep.
For some reason, it disappeared. They can't figure out so they can't figure out where they are in space either. And then they find a chick in the wall of the spaceship
that we have to remember to include was not part of the original crew.
Yeah, isn't part of the crew that we're following.
And there's like fucking pipes going through her and wires like embedded in her skin.
Yeah, like she fused with when they went through the paradox, they shifted dimensions. It was almost like she landed on that ship, but she landed in the wrong spot. So once the dimensions settled, she was like fused with part of the ship,
which they don't ever fully settle. Like they were explaining that's like kind of part of the problem with it is the anomalies energy that are from one universe to the other are reacting with one another, and they're not supposed to be. So it's causing madness, like this craziness.
The particles across dimensions that don't react are reacting, and it causes crazy anomalies that defy physics and all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah. So like, so they land over there, but then in the dimension they land in, they figure out that the Shepherd, I think is what they called it, Shepherd was the ship, and it was the name of the particle accelerator.
Yeah, it was the full rig.
In that dimension, it had crashed to Earth. They finally figure out where Earth is at, I want to say.
Well, they find the gyro.
Okay, so
and then that's how they find Earth.
That has a story in itself, too, though, because then... And from what I read, which is a part that I said I didn't catch, okay, so there's the Russian guy, he like cleans the ship, I think is part of his job duties that they explain in the beginning. He keeps all the gas levels where they're supposed to be at, and he disinfects and everything, keeps his ship super clean and everything. And then he does part of the gyro calibration so that they can figure out where they're at, and they have to set all this up before they fire. Like every time they go to fire off the particle accelerator, they have to do all these procedures.
Yeah.
So, from what I read, actually, and I didn't really figure it out until it connected the dots when I read the story, because he starts acting really weird right after they go through the shift. And then one of his eyes is like controlling itself.
Yeah.
It like looks to the side, and he's like freaking out, can't figure out what's going on.
He keeps feeling something under his skin.
In his eye, like, yeah, he keeps touching his face and shit. Yeah. But, and then it's almost like his eye has a mind of its own. What I read was that it wasn't just 2 dimensions that had collapsed together, it was 3. Because they jumped from one dimension to another. The dimension they landed in, for some reason, them jumping caused the Sheffield to crash to Earth in that dimension, but there was also another dimension that had collided with theirs, and the Sheffield the Shepherd space station from that dimension had collided with their space station. So it was almost like they were living on 2 different space stations at once. And
well, that would explain how the blonde gal that they find in the wall is still alive. Right,
because they were saying that they think that she actually was still on the one that crashed in the dimension they landed in.
Yeah.
So it really wasn't, and they all thought like, oh, okay, this is her Earth and not our Earth, but really it wasn't her Earth either.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, so that they think that his name's Volkov. They think that the Volkov on the one that they collided with, that like they almost merged with, him in their dimension fused with the him from another dimension. So it's like there's almost 2 Volkovs in one body, and that's where he's like the eye that he can't control. It's the other Volkov controlling it, and he goes and makes a gun with a 3D printer because he thinks that the particle accelerator scientist from Germany betrayed them.
Which also happens in Lost Space. They make a 3D printed gun. It's like, people, okay, this is a little lesson. Don't fucking go into space and give people the capability of 3D printing firearms. Gun,
yeah.
I mean, holy shit.
But it almost makes it seem like he snuck that up there with him.
Yeah, because it was on like a thumb drive.
Yeah, he took like a thumb drive out of his pocket and plugged it into the machine and made it, which still didn't make any sense to me, because I'm like, how do you get a gun out of a 3D printer? I could understand the fact that you could make one out of a 3D printer.
You could make the parts for it.
You
still got to put it together.
Where are you getting the gunpowder from?
True.
So it wouldn't work.
So this whole movie's bullshit.
Plot hole right there. But, okay, so I lost where I was at. So that they think that Volkov is actually combined with another Volkov that's from a different dimension, where the German scientist betrayed everybody because Germany was sending him secret messages saying hold off and don't let the accelerator start until there was a certain... I think they said they were waiting for the Russians to starve out before they got the Shepard particle accelerator to come online, so that the Russians would be dead, and then they would have the energy. Mm-hmm. So he goes and makes a gun, too. But in the process, like, you can tell he's, like, sick or something. He's acting really weird.
Yeah.
And then he starts having seizures. And then there's a tank where they're growing worms. Mm-hmm. And after they go through the transdimensional shift, the worms are missing, which totally grossed Paige out. She thought it was disgusting.
Hannah was not happy about it.
But he starts having like crazy seizures and stuff, and then they put him on the table in the like med ward or whatever, and he dies. And then out of nowhere, he just like vomits up all these worms that were missing.
Well, earlier on too, when he's asking the black scientist gal,
I can't remember.
He's asking her if he looks okay, if he looks normal.
Yeah.
And like you can see his skin is like raising up and
But
stuff.
I think that was him being combined with the other Volkov, and he's starting to feel the effects of that. I don't know if that was the worms.
I got that because he had like a bump in his skin. That he already had maybe a couple of them there, but they hadn't all shifted in there.
I thought that before I went and read the article that said that it was actually 3 dimensions combined. So, and that's possible too. but he threw them all up, so I don't know. Maybe they were just all in his stomach or what. But okay. And then the ship's mechanic, he's trying to go around and fix his ship because when they went through this shift, it like damaged the ship really bad.
Yeah.
So he's going around trying to, and throughout the process, they're like, you said they're seeing all these weird anomalies, like gravity is randomly shifting throughout the ship. And he's going around cleaning, he's putting some, I think he was putting a panel back on the wall. And he's like goes to lean against the wall and his arm goes through the wall and then gets stuck in the wall. And then it's like something is on the other side, almost like pulling his arm around, trying to pull his arm off.
Well, and the wall was like shifting.
Right,
and, like,
yeah, it was like shifting as his arm was moving through it.
It seriously looked like his arm was trapped in like metal quicksand.
Yeah, it did. Because it was like, he said when they come to help him, he said like it's pulling, almost like it was something was trying to pull him into the wall.
Yeah.
It never really explains if it was like somebody from a different dimension pulling his arm through, or if it was just the anomaly of the gravity and the way the particles were reacting with each other. But his arm comes off, and it's almost like cauterized.
Yeah, there's no blood. There's
no blood or anything, because the medic says it was almost like he was born that way.
Yeah.
So he's missing his arm, and then later on in the movie they find his arm, and it's just like crawling by. It has like a mind of its own. It's like crawling through.
I call it the Evil Dead paradox, if you've seen Evil Dead 2.
Right, yeah, like that. His arm's like crawling down one of the corridors, so they trap it in a fish tank.
Yeah.
But it starts like making like a writing I'm trying to action, I guess. Yeah. It was acting like it was writing something, so they handed a pen and it writes something down and it says cut open Volkov or check inside Volkov or something like that. Yeah. So they go and cut him open and they find the gyro inside of him. Mm-hmm. So when they did this shift, like so much stuff got mixed together.
Or he had been masturbating with it and it got stuck real deep in his butt.
They cut open his stomach, though.
Well, I said real
deep. And
the
gyro looked like it was pretty big. I mean, it was like a basketball size, which that part confused me, too. Cause I'm not gonna like say this guy doesn't have the resolve to pull it off. I don't know, man. That's tearing some stuff there.
Well, yeah.
You'd be bleeding.
Okay, maybe he's into that.
Maybe he is. But the part that, like, he looks normal, his gut looks normal and everything, and then they just cut him open and pull out this giant gyro. I'm like, how did that fit in there, plus all of his organs, without it, like, bulging out or him not, like, feeling it in there or something?
Because he used his prison wallet to hide it.
His prison wallet. Okay, so he dies, and then so they're trying to repair the ship so that they can go. They can try to restart the accelerator because they think that the restart or purposely overloading the accelerator again will make them jump back to their dimension. And throughout this process, why it's doing this, it shows that there's things crashing to Earth because the main girl, Hamilton, I'm pretty sure was her name, her boyfriend is like a doctor on Earth. So they're kind of jumping back and forth between his story and her story. Is he just her
boyfriend, though? They have like a kid together.
Or her husband. I think it was her husband.
I think they're married.
Yeah, her husband. They had kids, and they died. So the chick that they found in the wall is actually in her own dimension. The chick in the wall in her dimension is friends with Hamilton. And she didn't actually go up on the spaceship in her dimension. She stayed on Earth because her kids were still alive. Mm-hmm. She shows her that. So now she's like got this idea like, okay, I need to go back to Earth because I need to see my kids.
Yeah.
They're alive in this dimension. I need to save them from myself because it was partially her fault why they died. She was trying to like get some energy for them because of the energy crisis. So she made this like crude battery cell almost in their house. They didn't really explain that, like what it was, but it was an energy cell, and it caught fire, and that's how her kids died. So in this other dimension that this blonde girl is in, I forget her name.
I can't remember it either. I'll look it up real quick, but continue.
They're like really good friends, and she stayed on Earth. Hamilton stayed on Earth. So they finally figure out, they're like, okay, I lost my train of thought.
Blonde girl.
Yeah, the blonde girl. But her position is the Chinese lady's position on their crew. Mm-hmm. So she's like weirded out when she finds herself on this ship with a different crew. She's like, I don't know her. She's not supposed to be here. And then they all kind of figure out, it's a different dimension. The dimensions collided because of the shepherd.
Her name was Jensen.
Jensen. Okay. So they keep having weird stuff happen. They're trying to repair the ship, and then, I forgot to. Damn, dude, it's hard to summarize. The Asian lady, she's trying to fix something because they all start trying to repair the ship.
Yep.
There's a weird anomaly that happens again, and something I'm assuming with like a humidifying system that they have malfunctions, and a bunch of water fills up the room that she's in, and she can't get out of it. And they're trying to get the door open, but the water blows out the door that's to space.
Yes.
So she immediately freezes because it's absolute zero in space is the temperature. So yeah, the water would be instantaneously completely frozen. So she's no longer with them, but they have that other girl.
She's still there.
She's there. She's just frozen in a chunk of ice.
She's just a bomb pop now.
Yeah. So they have the other girl, Jensen, who was in her dimension, had the same job as the Chinese lady. So they're going to use her help instead. But they go to start repairing the ship, and the mechanic guy is trying to shut down the O2 pumps because they are so low on energy that they don't have any more to start the accelerator again. So he's shutting the pumps down, but when he shuts the pumps down, it basically fills up this entire area of the ship with like pure oxygen.
Yeah.
And then some more weird anomalies happen because, like they say, one spark and it's going to blow. This weird, like it was almost like silicone, but it turned into a solid metal when he put a little probe in it to repair holes and stuff.
It's the Flex Seal of the future.
Flex Seal, yeah. That's exactly what it was like. But when he's doing this, a gravitational anomaly happens, and it's almost like the wall is a magnet now, so all of his tools and stuff are like shooting off of him to the wall. And then this stuff, it's actually metal. It starts coming off behind him, and he doesn't notice. And then it was almost like it had a mind of its own. Like they tried to make it seem like it was just like a metal substance, so it was getting sucked to the wall, and it was going to like impale him. But then it like almost grabbed a hold of him.
Yeah, it was like
pulled him against. It was like going into his mouth.
Yeah,
and shit.
And in his nose and in his eye sockets.
And then there's a little CO2 tank that's like hanging on the wall, and then it flies across the room and smashes into the wall where that gravitational anomaly was and explodes. So it like blows part of the ship up. But the ring is still spinning for their centrifugal force, their artificial gravity. But it's like knocking the ship off its axis, and if it gets too far, it would like tear the whole ship apart.
Yeah.
So they have to go separate that wing from it. And in the process, their captain realizes that he can't separate it without having the airlock shut. So he won't be able to escape when he's trying to separate this portion of the ship. So he basically sacrifices himself.
Bruce Willis style. Another Armageddon reference.
Yeah. Sacrifices himself to get it separated.
I don't wanna close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep.
Paige loves that movie.
Baby, and I don't want to miss a thing.
Oh, good old Steve Buscemi.
Steve Buscemi, that's Steven Tyler, brother.
I'm talking about Steve Buscemi, the movie.
Yeah. I was just giving you a hard time. I wish Steve Buscemi sang that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But, so he sacrifices himself to save that part. Like, they have to disconnect that ring because it's pulling it off its axis. So it's just Hamilton, the German scientist, and the blonde chick Jensen that was from a different dimension. They're the only ones left. And then, but you find out that she's like plotting against them because the shepherd in her dimension crashed. So she's like, "You're not taking the shepherd back. I'm using it to save my planet."
Yeah.
So she goes and gets the gun out. She shoots the German scientist, She goes to try to kill Hamilton in the process too, but Hamilton's like fighting her in this room, and then she grabs the gun, and instead of shooting the chick, she shoots a hole in the glass. And I mean, a pressurized space station that's in a ton of movies. There's people that get like sucked through holes in the wall.
Would the glass collapse because of the pressure?
What do you mean?
It's an interesting thought. Like if you have a really thick fish tank,
yeah,
there's all that pressure there, but you shoot the glass, it's almost like is the glass going to break? Is it actually going to break because you have all that pressure within it, sitting behind it? So there's all the momentum behind it.
You would be shooting it from the inside. She's shooting it from the pressurized side. So there's no pressure behind the glass. And all the pressure is on her side of the glass.
That's true.
So I think it would break faster or easier at that point. But the Jensen
chick
gets... Not if
it was a Corel. Sponsor portion. Amazing cutlery and plates, bowls, everything. Yeah. Corel. Get your eat on.
But, so she gets sucked through the hole, which... That was like my thought process on those situations. I'm like, dude, if you were like, because she gets stuck on the hole for a second, it like sucks her up against it. Like, wouldn't it suck your insides out of you?
Yeah.
At that point?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're talking like pink sock. Like it's sucking everything out, dude. That would be so painful.
It's just outside the ship going.
Dude, I think it would, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
I feel like
maybe
because
why would it just be your butthole that comes out though?
I guess it would have to be if your butthole was on the hole in the ship.
Your butthole perfectly goes right up to the hole, spreads the cheeks and pulls the hole.
Suction cups up against it. Okay, so at that point it would. I don't think that's what happened. It didn't really show like where she landed against the hole, but she was like sticking her arms and legs out like it was like almost up against her butt.
Yeah, she's like, oh,
and then it blows out, and she gets sucked down into space. So her and the German scientist, they purposely overload the Shepherd to jump them back through the dimensions, or like almost like separate them again. It reverses the Cloverfield paradox, and then they only had power for 2 more starts.
Yeah.
So they purposely overload it for the first one to get back to their dimension, and then they figure out that if they ventilate it before they try to start it, the moisture in there that was in there is no longer in there. It doesn't destabilize the beam.
Yeah.
So they start it up, and it stabilizes. Everything works like it's supposed to. So,
but we forgot one major part of the whole thing. Earth
I forget?
Has some weird shit going on now. Like there's all these creatures everywhere.
That's why I said stuff's crashing to Earth. Like when they were jumping back to his point of view of the story.
Yeah, there's like creatures walking around in the city, which is kind of like preludes to the first Cloverfield. Well, and
they don't really explain that. They don't really tell you what's on Earth until the very end.
Yeah,
because they get the Shepherd running like it's supposed to be. It's like success, awesome. We've got power for the whole Earth now. We're good to go. Energy crisis over, and they go back to Earth, and then it jumps to her husband's story where the guy from NASA calls him and says, "Hey, we found her. She's back. The Shepherd's running. She's coming home." And he's like freaking out, like, "No, tell her to stay. Tell her to stay."
Yeah.
So that's like your first point of figuring out like something really weird is going on Earth. And then it shows their pod come off the space station. And as they come in through Earth's atmosphere and through the clouds, all of a sudden the monster from, what was it, is the first one, is it 22 Cloverfield Lane? Or was that the second one? The name of the movie.
I don't know.
I can't remember the name. I can't remember
the
title.
One with John Goodman?
No, the first one.
Oh, I have no idea.
Maybe it's just Cloverfield.
Yeah, I think it's just Cloverfield.
Just Cloverfield. Okay, my mistake. But the monster from that movie sticks its head up through the clouds, and that's like end of the movie. There you go. That's how. So supposedly the monsters somehow, it would almost be like like, I liked the 3-dimension theory to it, and that would explain a lot more. But it's almost like it would either have to have collided dimensions plus opened a wormhole, or it combined 4 dimensions, because then you would have to have the dimension from wherever the hell these monsters came from, too.
Yeah. Which, I don't know. It tied it all together, but I'm still just like, what are these creatures? Where are the creatures from?
Right. It didn't explain where they came from.
So this movie got a tremendous 17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah, but
Metacritic gave it a 37.
That's why I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes.
IMDb gave it a 5.6 out of 10.
I saw the reviews.
So the internet hated this movie.
They did. I thought it was awesome.
I didn't think it was bad.
I'm really interested in stuff like that. Like Interstellar is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think it was bad at all.
I almost don't like the stuff that we know to be true. I think it's really a lot more interesting to read about the stuff that we have like theorized about, like the multiverse. And
well, I mean, most astrophysicists generally accept the theory that the multiverse is real,
right?
Like
but it's not proven.
Well, yeah. How do you prove it without jumping into it?
Yeah. Well, all right. You almost can't prove it to a certain extent.
You can prove it. We just don't know how to yet.
That's what's interesting to me. like black holes are super interesting. Where does a black hole go? Where does all that matter go?
We don't know.
Is it a wormhole?
Maybe.
Does it go to another dimension?
It may. Who knows? We don't know until you go right on through the event horizon.
Yeah, like they did in Interstellar.
Yep.
Matthew McConaughey.
So
you have to ask him. Let's build
a catapult. I'll sit you in it. We'll aim it in the direction we think there's a black hole. I'll launch your ass in there, and you tell me what happens. We'll get walkie-talkies, and we can talk about it later.
Once I break Earth's, not even before I break through Earth's atmosphere, we're not going to be able to talk anymore. I'm going to die.
I'm going to get some really good walkie-talkies.
I'm going to be dead.
No, you won't. You're going to go too fast.
Too fast, too furious.
Too fast to die. You know when you speed up, like you go the speed of light?
Yeah.
Yeah, time slows down.
But does that affect your oxygen? I mean, that I feel like there's not regardless of how fast time is moving, the amount of oxygen you would have and the temperature. I mean, absolute zero is pretty cold.
You're going too fast.
You're going too fast.
The particles around you are too excited to freeze you to death because you're moving so quickly.
I mean, you can't say that's not true, though. I don't have an argument for that.
I'll pack you lunch. We'll get you a little...
Yeah.
I mean, if you're worried about oxygen...
I'm on the keto, so you got to get me.
Huh?
Just chicken.
You want some Cheetos?
No, I said I'm on keto. Some Cheetos. That's absolutely not part of my diet right now.
Cheetos. Delicious. I like the white cheddar ones. Okay, well, this movie goes perfectly with the next movie. They play right hand in hand with one another. The next movie we're talking about today, Lone Wolf McQuade, Chuck Norris, badass action movie from 1983. This movie was so great.
He reminds me so much of my dad.
Why?
Chuck Norris.
Your dad's a pipe fitter.
He's just the good old Texas boy.
Oh, you're talking about his get up and the way he talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I
think it would be more of...
I've yet to see your dad roundhouse heel kick
Texas
somebody
Ranger.
in the face in a pair of cowboy boots.
Have you ever asked him to do it?
No, I haven't.
I haven't either. Maybe we should.
Maybe we really should. Maybe we'll ask him to kick that kid that stole the company credit card.
We could do that. I'd be okay watching that. Please, Dad. Please go roundhouse kick him in the face.
So, Lone Wolf McQuade starts out with J.J. McQuade, Texas Ranger, badass.
J.J. I thought his name was John.
Yeah, but
Jim.
His full initials. They call him J.J. through the whole thing.
Oh.
J.J. McQuade.
I thought I heard him say Jim.
Come on, man. So he's rolling through the desert. He's got this, like, I don't even know what the hell the rifle. It's like a 300 Win Mag or like a 450 Bushmaster. It can't be a 450 Bushmaster because it's not a round-tipped round. It's a 300 Win Mag. We're going to say that.
We'll just go with that. Yeah, that'll work.
And he's like looking at these guys and they're stealing these horses. And there's some real dickheads, you know. They're like all sweaty and they're running through the desert and they're like cheering. They're like, yeah, yeah.
Like,
look, we're doing bad stuff. We're doing bad stuff.
Like Dylan after he leaves the gym.
Yeah. So they're all hot and sweaty, just a bunch of bros having a good time stealing
So
shit
it's
from
Dylan
people.
and Kent after they leave the gym.
Yeah. And the state police pop out of nowhere and they're like, all right, you're under arrest. And they're like, oh, no, we're not under arrest, man. And they start shooting at him and shooting at him. And so Chuck Norris starts dumping on these cars. He shoots a truck with this bolt rifle, blows the fuck up. It's totally realistic.
Yeah,
that's
but
what
that's
happens
after
when you
the
shoot
Texas or whatever they were.
Yeah, the state police.
The
like,
state
"Put your
police
hands up."
give up within like 5 minutes.
They fire a couple rounds. So, okay, I want to stop. This whole movie is like this. There's not much of a storyline. It's just a bunch of madness, a bunch of shooting, a bunch of spinning roundhouse kicks and cowboy boots.
Kicks.
There's a karate fucking tournament at a rodeo that doesn't make any sense at all. There's a lot of great stuff for this movie. Great movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he shoots these guys, and there's a quote. He meets the main bad guy horse thief, and he's like, oh, Texas Ranger kicking my daddy teeth out. And he's like, you kicking my teeth out too? So he fucking heel boots his teeth right out of his face. Right. And he's like father, like son.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of just amazing one-liners in this movie. It's great. So,
never forget an asshole.
I never forget an asshole.
That's my favorite one.
So, you know, he moves on. They go. He goes into town. He lives in El Paso. He's a Texas Ranger out of El Paso. He goes into town. His boss is like, "Oh, you're a damn lone wolf. You got no style."
He gets in trouble for it.
Yeah, I'm sick of you killing everybody with this MAC-10 you're carrying around. You got no damn style. You got more. He said, "You have the most unrivaled felony, unassisted felony arrests on record. You're unrivaled, but you got no damn style, kid."
Yeah. You gotta start playing by the rules.
Yeah, you need to start playing by the rules. You need to clean your fucking house. You got no style. You got this dog that's probably dying of heat exhaustion because it's some kind of wolf dog, husky
wolf
thing.
Husky
in
out
El Paso, Texas.
It makes for a mean-looking dog, though.
So, you know, he gets his partner, Ramos. Ramos shows up at his house. He ain't having it. Puts a gun in his face. He's like, forget the partner shit, kid. We're not partners. You know, he's offended because the kid tells him, your house is a shithole. But he says it in Spanish. So I didn't know that that's what he said.
He did.
Yeah, he says, like, ay caramba. He says some stuff about the house. I never took Spanish or anything.
I think he said chingao or chingaro when he walked in the door, which is like shit or damn.
And I'm not trying to be offensive. I just don't know any Spanish at all.
Yeah, I don't know much Spanish either. It's just cuss words.
But yeah, so he's dumping all over his house. So he puts the 44 mag, the dirty hairy gun in his mouth, and he's like, get out of my house. We're not partners. I don't like you. Piss off.
Which my dad has that gun.
Oh, yes, he does. And then I love the scene directly after that. He's rolling around in the dirt, shooting targets, and it's
in his backyard. Yeah. I would love that, by the way, if I could just go out back and shoot at targets.
Yeah, but you can roll around in the dirt.
I mean, I'm not going to do that.
He's got no shirt on. He's glistening with sweat.
It's Chuck Norris.
He's got a pair of Wranglers on, and he's just spinning in the dirt.
His skin
shooting targets with a 44 Magnum revolver and a sawed-off semi-automatic 12-gauge shotgun.
Yeah, that he shoots with one hand.
And we're talking the stock is cut down and the barrel.
Yeah.
Like, you could put this thing in your pocket.
Pretty close to it. It was pretty short.
So, you know, after all this is going down, he goes to the rodeo with his partner that just retired.
Yeah, from the Texas Rangers.
His daughter's there riding a horse. And he sees the bombshell of the movie. And she's riding this horse, and they're like talking about it like, oh my god.
She was somebody's
wife.
late wife.
Yeah.
Or
well, she may have been early. I don't know when she got there. But.
She had a late husband. Her husband was dead.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
And so essentially she's dating David Carradine. And his character's name is Raleigh Wilkes.
Raleigh Wilkes.
And he's the European Karate Master champion.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm going to have a karate exhibition. Oh, sorry, cut ahead. His daughter gets on this horse. The horse gets spooked by a car that backfires.
Somebody's old piece of junk truck that backfires.
So the bombshell goes and saves her, which is really weird because she's riding this horse as fast as she can. She's not wearing a bra, so her shirt looks like it's about to blow into 35 pieces. Yeah. They save the girl. She's like, oh, I know who you are. You're the infamous Texas Ranger, when she meets up with... not Walker, because I keep wanting to say Walker, Texas Ranger.
He's stuck in that role.
J.J. McQuade, which, by the way, Chuck Norris tried to get the rights to make a Lone Wolf McQuade TV series, which was not permitted, and he did his own version, which turned into the greatest television show ever made, Walker, Texas Ranger.
Walker, Texas Ranger. That's the character that reminds me of my dad.
Yes. Well, in essence, they are the same character. Like, it's supposed to be the same guy.
Yeah.
Did you know it's played by the same guy?
I didn't.
Yeah. So Chuck Norris is in both of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking wild, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Those same kicks are in both of them, too.
The same kicks.
I love the episode of Walker where Haley Joel Osment's the little kid with AIDS. And they're talking to him, and he's, like, dying of AIDS. And he's like, Walker told me I have AIDS. And I was just like, wow, why the fuck would Walker do that?
I've not ever sat and watched the whole series.
Yeah, there's also an episode where Walker busts a murderous satanic cult.
I did see that. You guys made me watch that one with you.
Hail Satan.
That one was
And they're
funny.
in the cemetery. And he kicks the guy in the head, and the guy falls over and smashes his head on a tombstone and dies. Like 100% $1 Million Baby style.
Yeah. That's how badass Chuck Norris is. Walker, Texas Ranger, he roundhouse kicks the devil.
Yeah, and kills him.
And kills him.
So, David Carradine, or Raleigh Wilkes, has this karate exhibition thing at a rodeo, which is totally realistic and has happened at every rodeo ever.
I feel like a gi in El Paso. You're dying of heat exhaustion.
Well, you know, he died in real life of... asphyxiation.
Not the same thing.
I just want to...
Was he in his gi?
He probably was. I want to take a second, though. Rest in peace, David Carradine. And for those of you that don't know, don't choke yourself while you're smagging it. All right?
When you're... Yeah.
If you're going to choke yourself, make sure you have a partner, or you notify somebody that you're going to be doing this.
Or like a breakaway rope or something.
Guys.
That's not just going to hang you.
This could lead to death.
It's dangerous.
Do whatever you're going to do in your own bedroom. It's none of my business. But be safe.
Just be safe about it.
Be safe. Anyway. So David Carradine...
a safe word or something.
Yeah. Like, I'm dying.
That's a pretty good safe word.
So David Carradine's kicking all these dudes' asses, which, I mean, so they're all supposed to be black belts, and he's this grand super European karate master champion. And, like, but they're, like, walking up to him, and they look like they just learned how to walk. He's, like, kicking the shit out of these guys. I was like, this fight isn't even fucking fair. He's beating these dudes down.
For... supposedly being like karate masters, I have to say the karate like choreography and fight scenes in this movie were so slowed down. It was like, it's like what
it was like watching old men fight videos on YouTube.
It would be like how your teacher would be teaching you the karate, like how slow they would move to show you. That's how it looked
through the whole movie. Everybody, the only thing that was in real time was Chuck Norris's roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
Which
Which it was actually slowed down.
You see that? Okay.
You didn't know that.
You see that kick
that was in slow-mo.
A total of 47 times through the movie. That's a real statistic. I did not make that up.
Really?
No, I made that up.
I was going to say, did you really look that up?
I bet we could look it up, though.
I bet you could look it up.
Yeah. So, he kicks all these dudes into next week, and he looks at Chuck Norris. He's like, oh, everybody, local media star J.J. McQuade is here with us. Maybe you want to do a little wager match with me. And he goes, I don't fight for money, pussy. So then...
He didn't say the pussy part.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to add suspense, man. Damn, I want to talk about the movie.
It's Chuck Norris. He doesn't have to say that.
Yeah, that chest hair is suspenseful
Yeah,
enough.
exactly.
So, afterward, he goes to the bar. He's like, give me one of them Pearl beers. And they're like, oh, all we have is Heineken and other
I don't even
foreign
remember what
beers.
else they said, yeah.
So
like
the bombshell walks up, and her character name is Lola Richardson.
Well, he says, never mind then.
Yeah, I don't want that shit. I want that German poop beer. So she walks up and she goes, bartender, bottom shelf. Which is like, so you did have the beer. Why are you lying about it? Who are you saving Pearl beer for?
Is she saying that it's just on the bottom shelf?
Yeah, she's
or
like,
are they saying, like, this is bottom shelf beer?
Both, I'm sure. Like the way she made it sound.
I've never had Pearl beer.
The way she made it sound, it was sitting under a cardboard box.
Yeah.
Somewhere down there. Hot as shit. Old. Probably expired.
Like they had it in stock, but they didn't even want to say that they had it in stock.
Well, you know what they say. Like, beer gets better with age.
That's not a thing.
It is.
It's not. No, that's wine.
And beer.
Beer does not get better with age.
You know what else gets better with age? Yogurt. The older it is, the better it is. So try it out, guys. Leave a yogurt in your fridge for a year, 2. Crack that sucker open. You're going to have a good time.
You're going to vomit.
No. You're a liar.
I'm not.
You're a bald-faced liar.
Well, I know for a fact you would vomit.
Why?
Because you have, like, the weakest smell to stomach connection.
That is not true. You're telling all these people that don't even know me falsehoods about me.
You threw up at Subway when you were trying to do the dishes and you got tuna on your arm.
That was a mayonnaise thing. That had nothing to do with the smell.
Mayonnaise doesn't smell near as bad as a year-expired yogurt.
It's the taste. Mayonnaise is gross. It's so gross. It's made out of eggs and vinegar and
so it wasn't even the smell.
Shit.
It was just the fact that it was mayonnaise and you puked.
Yeah, 100%.
You're throwing up from that yogurt.
I threw up all over myself.
I know you did. I had to finish the dishes.
So, where was I? Oh, yeah.
Talking about the beer.
Pearl beer. So he gets his Pearl beer, cracks it open. He's having a great time with this gal he just met. They're making out. They're having fun. And then his partner, Ramos, is dancing with some gal on the dance floor. They're having a good time. And some guy walks up and says some fucking racist shit to him. He's like, I don't want you dancing with a greasehead. Ramos took Greaser. He took exception to this and blasted this dude with a right hook.
And down in Mexico, it wasn't in Mexico, in El Paso.
Yeah.
Is that like a different term? I'm assuming.
I have no idea.
They use greaser for a Mexican instead of like the outsiders. Because he definitely wasn't a greaser.
Hey, Dally! Stay golden, pony boy!
Yeah. So I'm assuming that's a racist term down there for Mexicans.
Yeah. So Ramos gets in a fight with the guy. The guy somehow is this big tank dude. He's superior fighting skills, is beating Ramos up.
He takes a punch like a champ.
Yeah. He takes a real hard right hook. And then Dakota, Texas Ranger J.J. McQuade's buddy that had just retired, runs up to the guy, grabs his arm and goes, "You better quit while you're ahead, bud." And he says it just like that. And the guy's like, "Oh, yeah?" And then he just fucking knocks him.
And then he gets knocked out, too.
Drops him on the ground. And then, out of nowhere, Walker, Texas Ranger does a Liu Kang across the map sidekick. And kicks this dude through a damn table. And then gets up. And David Carradine's character says, "Oh, the boys and I are just trying to have some fun." And he goes, That's not what I consider fun," or something like that.
Or he said, he said the boys are just having fun, and he goes, you want to join in on the fun?
Yeah. And so, old gal, the bombshell, Lola, jumps in the middle, and she's like, stop it, this isn't my idea of fun. So they break it up, and she, goes away with Chuck Norris and making out with him in his truck as he's trying to leave. And she's like, oh, you look like you could use a change of scenery. And she takes him to this bar. And the second they sit down, some stinky-looking bar biker guy goes up to her, looks at Chuck Norris, smiles at him, looks at her, and goes, hey, baby, how about a kiss?
Like the classic sexual harassment. Yeah. Like, nobody says that as a pickup line.
And
if you walked into a bar and you were just like, what's up, babe? How about a kiss?
It's not
You're
going to work.
You're getting your ass kicked.
It's not going to work
at
all.
100% not going to. At least I would hope that didn't work.
It's not a good pickup line. It doesn't even work when you're married. If I went up to my wife and I said, hey, babe, how about a kiss? She'd be like, get away from me.
But you got to say it like that.
Yeah.
Like all great. Hey, babe, how about a kiss?
I'll try it tonight and see where it gets me. It's not going to work. My dog, it will work with him.
Riley would love it.
He'd be like, all right. Yeah. Bring me them lips. So, yeah, he beats this guy up, kicks his ass. They move on. That night, his daughter is getting freaky in the desert with her boyfriend.
She's not.
Well,
he's trying.
They're on their way. He's getting ready to take her to the Bone Zone.
Yeah, he's at least he's trying to.
Yeah, they're getting ready to board the train to Pound Town. Anyway, so out of nowhere, he's like, hey, there's something going on down there at the highway, which they didn't notice before. They're parked right by the fucking highway.
They're parked on the cliff, on the very edge of the cliff, where you would clearly be able to see the highway.
Yeah. So they don't see the police, they don't see the flares, and out of nowhere, this military convoy pulls up full of guns, full of bombs, full of missiles, full of machine guns, bullets, MREs, you name it, it's in there.
That's what they're after, is the MREs.
Nuclear weapons, robots, spaceships, trailer parks. It's all in there. It's all ripe for the taking. And the cops, which aren't actually cops, they're just playing as cops, they kill the whole crew, steal it all, and they bust out of there. And they're all working for a mob boss who happens to be a midget, and his name is Shorty in the film.
His name is, what was it? Falcone.
But they're calling him Shorty.
You definitely wouldn't be able to get away with calling a midget Shorty in a film nowadays.
Hella offensive.
Really offensive.
You can't even, you have to call them little people. You don't even call them midgets anymore.
Oh, okay. Midget
is offensive now.
Yeah.
I don't call anybody shit anymore because I don't know what's going to get me in trouble and what isn't. I'm worried about calling Matt. Like, I don't want him to take offense to that.
I'm not going to take offense to that.
So.
I might if you called me Shorty.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm not going to call you Shorty.
Is he calling him Shorty like he's
short? Or is he calling him Shorty because that's his nickname?
Or like Shorty like, what's up, Shorty?
What's up, Shouty?
is that what it? That's why he didn't get in trouble for saying it.
Maybe. I don't know.
It was just Shorty.
Could be the case. I don't know. I don't know the rules, so I stay away from the whole thing.
Maybe McQuade's into the whole midget thing.
Maybe he wants to show him his piece.
You never know what they got down on the border, El Paso.
El Paso. So, I'm lost. Oh, the shipment. So, McQuade's...
Yeah, it gets stolen by a gun running.
And they kill her boyfriend. A car pops up. These dudes jump out. And, man, they love Mac 10s and Mini 14s in this movie. This guy's got a Mac 10, cocks it back, pumps about 15 rounds into this poor kid. And then they drive their car into the side of his car, drive old McQuade's daughter off a damn cliff. Okay?
It's kind of like an embankment. I wouldn't say it was a huge cliff.
400-foot drop cliff. She's banged up. She's got a little scrape on her head. They don't think she's going to make it.
Yeah, she's in the hospital. Like, she's seriously injured.
I would have got up and walked home after that and been fine. I would have stopped at Waffle House, got me a little pecan waffle, and I would have been fine.
Because Waffle House is not actually good for breakfast.
It's only good for any other.
It's only good for from 9 o'clock to 4 in the morning.
9 a.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning?
No, p.m.
Okay. So you had to.
Those are the prime times for Waffle House.
Oh my god, I do like Waffle House.
I like Waffle House.
I like Waffle House. So
Denny's is also good.
Denny's is pretty good too. IHOP, you're terrible.
Get
Get out of here.
I can eat it.
No, it's terrible, dude.
It's not that bad.
It makes my butt pee. So I don't eat it.
Paige can't usually eat it. Now that she's pregnant, she can.
Well, she's got stomach issues too, so I'm
yeah,
sure.
But they're gone. They went away during the pregnancy.
Well, hopefully they stay away.
Yeah, for her sake.
But, his daughter gets jacked up. He's pissed about it, so he goes on a murder rampage. He starts hooking up with the bombshell chick. There's a couple more fist fights. So it's leading to this, standoff with David Carradine. David Carradine, he's a bad dude in this. So Walker gets pulled into the office. He meets this ATF agent that looks like Lando from Star Wars. And which they say the guy's ATF to start off with. Later in the movie, they say he's FBI. They can't get their shit straight. They don't know what to call the guy. He's a federal agent. They should have just left it at that.
The other guy was the FBI.
Yeah, but then when the guy came out, they both introduced themselves as FBI. Like when the guy...
that's right, when he's on the megaphone.
This all leads to a scene where they go to bust him. They find the weapons shipment. David Carradine's there. The whole gang's there. They're trying to figure out a way to stop this shipment from going. And, of course, the damn FBI blows it.
Because they took absolutely zero backup.
Yeah. They ran in with 3 guys and they said, "Hold it! Put your hands up, you're under arrest." And there's 800 dudes with shotguns and rifles. And they're like, "Now!" So they get in this big gunfight. They're shooting. They're banging. They're pumping slugs into each other. Lead's flying. People are dying. It's getting crazy, okay? And so they kill all these FBI dudes. Everybody gets shot. Ramos gets shot. Walker... McQuade, pardon me. McQuade gets shot. Lando gets shot. And so McQuade's like, "Get out of here, kid," to Ramos. He's like, I got your back. I got your cover. And he's reloading his gun, which would have really sucked if Ramos got shot in the back.
He just jumped up to run before he had actually reloaded.
So then McQuade jumps up. He gets in a gunfight, beats some dudes up. There's too many of them. They got him outnumbered. They put him in an arm hold. They're punching him right in the stomach. They're slapping his head a little bit. David Carradine walks up and goes, "I've been waiting for this moment for a long time." Bitch slap 1, bitch slap 2, bitch slap 3, rib punch. He kicks him in the head, which it's like, you're supposed to be the European Grandmaster Karate Wizard champion of the world.
And the moment you were waiting for was to fight or beat up somebody that was being held down by 3 guys.
Hold the guy down. Come on. You're supposed to be a formidable guy. You blew it.
Cheap shots.
So he's like, Lola's like, "Oh no, leave him alone," because she's like, "I can't stand to watch you slap him again." And they're like, "Okay, well, then we won't slap him no more. I got a better idea to kill him. Let's bury his ass alive in his super sweet, supercharged Ram Charger." So
it is sweet.
They throw him in the Ram Charger, slam the door, they dump it in this pit, and they cover it in sand with a bulldozer. And Ramos is like, "Oh, God, no," from the bushes. He's real hurt about this. He's like, Walker, McQuade, U.S. Texas Army Ranger is trapped in a hole. So they bury him. He wakes up, and he's like, "I'm not dead. I'm still alive. The Ram Charger's still in good shape."
He's just barely holding on.
He reaches over. He grabs a Pearl beer. He cracks it. He takes it, pours it all over his head. He's like...
Which he didn't
His breathing intensifies.
He didn't even actually drink it.
No, he took a swig. He took one good swig.
Out.
Spits it all over the car. puts the keys in the ignition, starts this bad boy up. He flips the switches for the supercharger. You hear the whine of the supercharger start.
The toggle switch for the superchargers cracking me up.
And then he goes, ah! He's holding the steering wheel. He's jerking back and forth. He's slamming on the gas pedal. It's like, it's getting up there. It's poking out of the top. They all see it. They're like, fuck, what are we going to do? He blows out of the top of the hole because Ramos goes fucking crazy and he's shooting everybody. Boom, 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 boom. He's taking no prisoners. Nobody's getting arrested. You're all fucking dying today. So he's shooting them all, and then out of nowhere, McQuade blows out of the hole, runs this man over and kills him, right?
Yeah,
jumps out of the truck, the only guy left. He shoots him point blank range in the chest with a 12-gauge shotgun, obliterates this guy, just melts him in front of everybody. He's fucking dead. There's no saving him. And then Ramos is like, I'm glad you're alive. And he's like, yeah, thanks, kid. And he just drives off without him.
You got really into that scene.
I'm trying to build the suspense.
Holy shit.
This is important.
It was entertaining to watch.
So then they go to his house after that. He hooks up with the bombshell. They do the sex. They're sleeping in the bed. They sneak in. They go to kill his ass. They kill his fucking dog. The dog's dead. He pumps like 4 shots. Another MAC-10 appearance. It's suppressed.
With a silencer this time.
So then they go to finish the job and they go to kill McQuade. Well, McQuade's too good.
Yep, he hears them.
You block the light from the moon. He rolls over old girl, flips the mattress, jumps out of the window, which is kind of weird because there's a door. Chases the car down. 44 mag, bang, 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 bang. Doesn't land a single shot. They get away.
Yeah.
Then they kidnap his daughter. They kidnap her. His ex-wife, which he still has some weird connection with. They're still kissing each other every time they see each other and stuff. He's just a playboy, straight up. Play on, playa. So,
I mean, he is the Texas Ranger.
He's the only one there is left.
Absolutely. The only one that ever was.
So, he's like, I'm going to go find my daughter and I'm going to kill every son of a bitch that had anything to do with her disappearance. So then, we fast forward to the last action sequence. He goes to Mexico. And he's in Mexico and they find the weapons that were stolen.
Yeah, they find the compound.
They take a shotgun with 5 shells. They have 144 Magnum. And they have 2 bolt rifles. And they go
and then just like a backpack full of grenades.
And they go to damn war. Okay?
They brought more grenades than ammo for the guns.
Ramos has an AT-4 anti-tank missile launcher that it just has a secondary, 3rd, 4th, 5th use. I don't know how he's reloading these things. I'm pretty sure they're a one-shot throwaway, but whatever. So he's running a gun, boom, 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 blowing shit up. You see guys' arms and legs flying off. Children's lives are being ruined because their dad just died. Wives are at home crying. There's blood and guts and tears and shit everywhere.
I don't think they would even know yet.
Sadness, just sheer depressive sadness. This is a full-scale war, one of which that rivals any battle of World War I or II. It's insanity. Chaos on a mass level. Loose cannon, renegade McQuade, boom, kills one guy, boom, kills another guy, puts a guy on his knees, blows his head off, stomps a guy's face through the back of his head, shoots a child, blows a helicopter up. It's fucking crazy. It's madness everywhere. So then, once they kill all the peons, they all gather around, and he's got the 44 mag pointed at David Carradine. David Carradine's got a MAC-10. And it's probably the same MAC-10 that they're just passing around, but damn, he's got it.
There's only one in the entire...
Yeah.
It's the same gun the whole time.
They're all pointing guns at each other, and they're like, how about it, buddy? And he's like, yeah, how about it? And so they throw their guns to the side, which is so stupid. Listen, if I've been trying to kill a dude for weeks, I'm not going to fist fight him to death when I finally found him.
Make him think you're going to, and then when he drops his gun, just shoot him.
I'm going to shoot him in the damn toodles and get it over with.
You're just like, no, I was just playing.
So then they beat the shit out of each other for 10 minutes. 10 minutes of just full-fledged action fighting sequences. McQuade's daughter tries to break it up. She's been shot in the leg. He doesn't care about that. Trying to break up the fight. She's like, no, Daddy! Because David Carradine's kind of kicking her ass.
He's kind of winning at first.
Yeah. And then he pushes her back, and then he gives her a back fist. Oh my God, you've never seen a man so mad. He back fists her, and then they play the scene again in slow-mo. You just fart? Okay. Oh, that's not the same sound I heard.
Damn chair.
Okay, whatever.
Dude, I'm not going to fart on the podcast.
Now keep your toot box out of my microphone, buddy. So anyways, he's just disgusted. And he jumps up. Oh, no. Wow. He's laying on his back. He levitates straight up into a front kick. Kicks David Carradine to the fucking moon. All right?
He comes from laying on his back straight to the kick without any transition whatsoever.
And just beats this dude down. Well, see, David Carradine has after he beats him down, he runs over to his daughter. He's like, oh my God, babe. Oh my God, little baby daughter. Are you okay? And she's like, yeah, Dad, I'm fine. Which, like, no, you're not. You just got shot with a gun.
It looked like it was just a graze. It just grazed her.
Well, still, it's got to hurt.
I'm sure that combined with the back fist to the nose was probably pretty bad.
Well, and she just got pulled out of a damn car wreck from a cliff. She's having a bad week. It's a bad week. So, David Carradine runs away with his buddy. They go into this shack that's just conveniently surrounded by bombs, grenades, and gasoline tanks. Walker, McQuade, Texas Ranger, Marine, hero, Silver Star recipient, jumps up. David Carradine, MAC-10, shooting at him. He's running. He's dodging. He's cutting back and forth, zigzagging on the ground, dodging every bullet. Grabs a grenade, pulls the pin, throws that son of a bitch. He goes headfirst into the sand, covers his head, just like he learned in basic training, and then, boom, the explosion goes off.
Like, ridiculous explosion.
We're talking Hiroshima, Nagasaki nuclear weapon, bammo.
I wish they would have actually done that in the movie. They zoom out and show a mushroom cloud.
So David Carradine's dead.
Really? Yeah, he's real dead.
So after he dies, a helicopter flies in. And Shorty...
His Shorty.
What was his name again?
Falcone.
Lands, and he goes, my investments! Walker, McQuade, you made a deal with me! And he goes, no, you made the deal, Shorty. And he's like, let's take that helicopter and leave this guy out here to die in the desert. And he's like, oh, what about the federales? You can't leave me to the federales. And he's like, I goddamn can, and I will. And they steal his helicopter and leave his ass in the desert to die.
Mm-hmm.
So then he lands back in El Paso, and, he is hugged and kissed by Lando, and the press loves him, and bam,
his boss is taking all the credit.
Big boss man tries to take all the credit, and that's it. That's the movie. It's great. It's a great action movie. I actually love that movie.
It's a good classic action
over
movie.
The top.
Yeah.
Early 80s action flick.
Bad acting, but still really good movie.
Shitty acting. Terrible storyline.
Yeah.
The action's nuts. It's just over the top. Guns don't run out of ammunition. Bombs blow up bigger than ever. It's crazy. It's madness. I recommend it. Watch it.
Yeah, I would recommend
Please watch it. It's a good time.
And if you've ever seen the, what was it? Was it on Vine originally?
No, it was too long for Vine because it was like 4 minutes long.
Was it? Okay, the short video that's gone around Facebook of the Chuck Norris sniper and people falling and stuff. That's from this movie.
So, man, watch it. Listen, do whatever you got to do to watch it. Get your friends together, make a drinking game out of it. Every time Chuck Norris roundhouse kicks a guy in cowboy boots, drink 5 beers. Drink 5 Pearl beers.
Everybody's going to be going to the hospital after that movie for alcohol poisoning.
Every time you see a MAC-10, take a shot.
Oh my God, you're gonna kill people.
You know, do whatever you gotta do.
Don't do that drinking game.
Every time you hear Chuck Norris call Ramos kid, snort a line of coke. Do whatever you gotta do. This movie's great. Party with me. You know, we had fun watching it. I drank a Rooster Booster. You can only get it at Quick Trip. So if you're listening to me outside of the Midwest, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You're not going to get it.
Yeah,
you don't get it.
That's true, because they don't have them in South either.
I think they're trying to expand into the Carolinas right now, though. So if you're in the Carolinas and you're listening,
jumped from Kansas City to the Carolinas.
Well, they're moving their way.
Way east. Okay.
Yeah, so
yeah, they're not. I remember when I lived in Houston, my grandma sent me a gift card for I think it was my birthday or something, for gas at Quick Trip. the closest Quick Trip was
it's Oklahoma City,
5 hours away.
Yeah, Oklahoma City is as far south as they go. Yeah. We're in Kansas City, by the way, so it's about an 8-hour drive from here. But we got Quick Trips on every corner here. It's great.
Best
it's
city.
Great.
Best city ever.
Absolutely.
Best baseball team ever.
Absolutely. We're not doing as great this season, but damn it, we're rebuilding, and we got a great future ahead of us.
Hey, we went back
be
to back
where
World
you
Series.
want to be. Baseball with the Royals. So that's going to conclude this week. Next week, we haven't selected the movies, but I swear I'm going to get around to watching Neverending Story at some point. It's a childhood classic for me.
I've never seen it.
It's a real tearjerker.
Yeah.
Watch it with Paige. I'll $5 says she cries. I'll put the money on it right now.
Well, I mean, yeah, she's pregnant.
She's going to cry. So, I don't know. Neverending Story is a possibility. We haven't thought about the other movie yet. But, again, if you listen to this podcast, please share it on Facebook. Follow our Facebook page, Blockbusters and Bootlegs. Give us a like. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. Please leave a review.
Subscribe.
It'll help us out tremendously. Check us out on Spreaker. And we're also working to get on to other platforms. I know we're not really...
Which we have said numerous times. But yes, we're still working on it.
I mean, we both work full-time jobs.
And thank you to everybody that already has done that.
Yeah, seriously.
It's helping us out big time.
Greatly. We're I know it doesn't sound like much, but we're at 80 downloads. And for two guys that just started this out, and it's probably not the best podcast in the world, every single one means something, and we greatly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And we might eventually start doing some guests on the show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that concludes week 3, episode 3, the Cloverfield Paradox and Lone Wolf McQuade. Thanks for listening. Keep listening, and y'all have a good one.
Bye.
See ya.